Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm gonna be talking about the review of the first episode of the Return events. This is a special 25-year anniversary uh, episode special for Toonami there. So I was shocked by this whole thing. Well, not so much shocked about the event because the events are what they usually do, eye candy type stuff. But for the people that in the intruder, in the second intruder angle, they did the whole eye candy thing with bringing back Sunny Straight's Tom 1, who was now like a rubble destructive thing that was the intruder, basically, kind of closing off that whole chapter of Tom. But now they brought back the best Tom in the history of all the Toms. The first Tom that Steve Bloom voiced as Tom. Tom 2 is back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. I don't know. I'm having like a great I was like going like bananas. Like I was kind of exhausted from the convention because I had just got back from the convention an hour before. It was about 2 hours before Toonami. Okay. And so because we wanted to leave early anyways, because there was not that much for the last 2 hours of the convention, but so I got and I was kind of really kind of drained. As a matter of fact, after Attack on Titans, I really kind of didn't watch anything else after that. But right before the Attack on Titan episode, that freaking Returns freaking thing came on, and I had to like watch it a couple of times because they freaking had Tom 2 in this episode. I gotta get to the review. I'll get to the whole review anyways of this thing, but I mean the whole episode was clearly overshadowed by the return of Tom 2. Like, I mean that was that pretty much just sunk anything else that they were doing at that point. So the episode starts out with the they're in their little spaceship, just well, it's not really a spaceship, it's a void, just there, right above the earth. And then they get like these whole things about all these different versions of Toms or whatever with the forges over the years. This is what the current Tom is, or I should say, Tom 7 is talking about. He's just talking about different, what we're gonna do and whatnot. For how he's the only, he thought he was the only Tom, but now there's all these other Toms. And so now that there's millions of them, he's not probably as cool anymore because it's not as special. And Sarah just says they're just repercussions. It will always be the most Tom ever, and she's like, thanks, pal. And then there's this alert that comes up by Sarah, and there's like a frequency and like a life negatives, possibly unstable, and then there's this ghost ship that comes up towards their, little ship that can't move, and then we see it, guys. Then we see Tom in the ship. Tom freaking 2. The best Tom of them all. They brought back the best Tom, the cool Tom, the badass Tom, the Tom during the freaking golden age of Toonami there, you know what I mean? When Z was going on and all this other stuff. You had Kids WB, Tom. Well, that was the same Tom, but that was Kids WB had Tom too. They freaking had him in the Midnight Run. The iconic Tom 2, the first one that was voiced by Steve Bloom. The one that everybody remembers when you were watching it. Millions upon millions of people were watching Toonami during this period. That's why it's called the Golden Age of Toonami. This was when Tom 2 was reigning supreme. And I seen it and I got goosebumps. I'm not going to lie. Even though Toonami's programming hasn't been the best as late, I did get goosebumps from this. If that's what they were trying to do, then they won me over on this. I am still concerned about the programming. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't sugarcoat the programming of Toonami. But I did get goosebumps. I did have the nostalgia going on right there when I seen that shit. I lost my shit when I seen this. I lost my shit when I seen this. When I seen Tom 2. I didn't know it was coming. And when I seen that, I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. We got Tom 2 back. Now, some people are asking, how is this possible? Because if you remember, Tom 2 was eaten by Rex, or he was destroyed by Rex. He was destroyed by a guy named Rex. Remember, everybody remembers this if you're a Toonami fan. And was rebuilt as Tom 3. That's how Tom 3 was created. The jacked up one. But here's the thing. As I pointed this out, Tom even mentioned, the current Tom mentioned that there are multiple Toms. During the last event, there was the clones and stuff like that. So maybe Tom was secretly recreated as Tom 2 rather than the original, rather than the current designs. And because of that, Tom 2 is back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully nothing happens to Tom 2, because Tom 2 is the badass. He's the man. He's the best. This is the best Tom. This is the best Tom. We want Tom 2, ladies and gentlemen. Tom 2 stole the show, ladies and gentlemen. It just got personal. And so we need to check it out. So Tom 2, or Tom 7, the current Tom, he's got the gun and the weapons ready. So, and then he runs up to the thing and he says, I can't believe this jerk is broadcasting our home movies. Automated defense system. I suggest we have caution. And he basically runs from, where they are and, goes right up to the ship that is, basically invading, the building or whatever, the command center. And then he basically says, well, it's an L-class fleet, and that he hasn't seen one of those babies in a while. And then they're like, let's get closer, and Sarah's saying it looks familiar. It looks crazy familiar because, again, this is the stuff that they rode back during the Tom 2 era, because this Tom is supposed to be the same Tom from before. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody who doesn't understand what's going on here, basically, the Tom that we know right now, the current Tom and the current Sarah, okay, those Toms and Sarah's are the same Toms and Sarah's that donned the Tom 3, that donned the Tom 2, even the Tom 1, because Tom 1 was technically Tom 2. It's just that all his memories were taken and removed and transferred to the Tom 2 body. That's supposed to be how it worked. So all these Toms, these current Toms, okay, are just basically clones to the original Tom, which is basically the Tom that you see today. That's basically how it's supposed to work. So this Tom 2 is basically a clone of the current Tom back when he was Tom 2. So this is why he is Tom 2, or at least that's what I think it is, because that's how the storyline was. That's how the storyline always was, is that, like, he was just being upgraded with a new body, basically. So this Tom, who looks like Tom 2, is basically a cloned version of Tom back when he was Tom 2. That's basically how it, I believe, is working. That's my theory, at least, because that's the only thing that really kind of makes sense. So they stare down the door, and the door opens, and then Tom's like, no way. And that's basically how the Return episode 1 ends for this week. I'm very eager to see what they do next week, because I really did like this. This was a pretty good treat. And hopefully we see more of Tom 2. I really am eager to see what they do there. You know what I mean? But yeah, Tom 2 is freaking back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom 2 is back. I don't know how long. I don't know how this is going to work. You know what I mean? But he's back, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love for them to permanently bring back Tom 2. That would be really cool. That'd be really would be really epic. You know what I mean there. But obviously, if they do bring him back, it doesn't really change the programming formats, because obviously the Tom 2 era of Toonami isn't going to come back with Tom 2, which is the only thing that kind of sucks about this, because I don't think Tom 2 coming back is going to magically make the programming better. Obviously, it won't. But unless they're going to make Tom come back for Monday through Friday shit, you know what I mean there. But I doubt that's happening. But a pretty good Easter egg, to say the least. The eye candy was epic, you know what I mean. To see this Easter egg is just awesome. Just freaking awesome. Comment, rate. If you like this video or my reviews, please subscribe. And stay gold, everybody. I'm very happy. I'm very looking forward to seeing the event next week, and see where this goes. I'm very, very into this now. That is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Stay gold, guys. And I'm out.